Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7 o'clock. I'm not going to hang about tonight, so if you'd like to just either sit down or be quiet, please, and then we'll get on with it in the evening. Thank you for coming, which is good news. I don't know whether any of you are out in the rain or the hail at lunchtime, but goodness me, talking about change of seasons, it's just extraordinary. Anyway, thank you for coming. First thing I would just say is there is up we've had on the screen here this evening that the next meeting is being shown as the 29th. It isn't, it's Wednesday the 22nd. We'll be putting a flyer around, but please disregard the date on here. It's Wednesday the 22nd of April. Now, I've got a couple of other, housekeeping. In the event of any emergencies, exit here, exit there. The door at the bottom of the stairs here is unlocked. All you've got to do is turn the key and away you go. That door is unlocked. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing will go wrong. But there we go. I'm pleased to see you all this evening. On Friday, these are a little bit of housekeeping notes I've just been given. On Friday of this week, at 8 o'clock at the Friends Meeting House, the Wandsworth Historical Society have a talk, Preserving Wandsworth Legacy Developments in the Wandsworth Heritage Collection. Now, I'm sure and this is Antonia Donna. Sorry. Friday, 8 o'clock, Friends Meeting House on Wandsworth, East Hill. Wandsworth Historical Society. So I think, Caroline, that's all, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. Well, super. Thank you very much for coming. You've each got a copy of the agenda and a report, or the last year's meeting minutes. I'll start off by welcoming everybody here. I've received no apologies for absence from anybody. Thank you. But nevertheless, we're all here this evening. I've put on your chairs copies of the minutes of last year's AGM, and I'll take a moment or two now if you'd like to have a glance through those. If you think that they are ready and able to be approved, then I'll put the motion to the meeting, and then I could have a seconder. That would be most kind. So I'll just let you have a moment or two to read through them if you want to.
I'm sorry, can you just tell me the seconder, proposer and seconder one?
Oh.
It's done by show of hands, I can't see it.
Yep. These, as I say, these was all done, and it was on it has been on the website. Has anybody got any questions from last year's minutes of the AGM? Oh, that's wonderful. Could I ask for somebody to propose the adoption of these minutes? Julie Harrison. And somebody to second them?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's good. The next thing on the agenda is a quick summary by me of everything that has happened, hopefully satisfactorily for everybody in the last 12 months. I'm pleased to see those that are here this evening, so many of you, and welcome to this is the 55th annual general meeting of the Society. I hope once again that the Society has continued to provide you with interesting presentations which the events group consider relevant to the Society's aims. If you've got any suggestions for future meetings or other events with which the Society could become involved, please let us know. And that's anybody within the exec or whoever, because we want as wide an opportunity for everybody to understand, the better. We continue to bring the Society's affairs forward to encompass such technology which is now available. This is an old beef of ours, I'm afraid. We have a lot more members' email addresses, which is tremendous, which makes life so much easier for us to communicate with you. But if you've not provided your email address or your up-to-date information, could you let either Caroline or Jill know, or just do a note to the membership of wandsworthsociety.org. It means that Peter can do the flyers as effectively as he possibly can, contacting as many people as possible. If you know of anybody else that hasn't provided their email address, try to persuade them to do so if you would. That would be most helpful. And I made these same remarks last year, but it's a continuing problem. Copies of the notice for the meeting and last year's annual AGM are here. You've seen those, and they've been on the Society's website. The certified accounts are also here available, and you've all got copies on your chairs. And I'd like to thank Paul Henry once again very much for carrying out the scrutiny, which allow the accounts to be approved. And it is now for the membership to approve these accounts by a show of hands. Now, what I'm going to do is to let Richard go through them if there are any questions first. When he finishes, I will ask him to propose the adoption of the accounts, and that will then allow him to sign them off and get them to the Charities Commissioners. So thank you, Mr. Henry, very much for doing them. I'd like to also thank all of those who have been involved with the running of the Society for the last 12 months. John Crossland, who's standing over there once again with his recording machines and all the other paraphernalia, the lighting and the sound, which is really good. And these recordings are generally available a couple of days after the meetings, and you can go onto YouTube. And that's something that I think we've got to think a bit more, that we've got to try and make sure that they're available easily rather than in a perhaps complicated way, but we can deal with that perhaps in the next 12 months. Now for a little bit of detail. The executive has met six times during the year: April, June, September, November of last year, January and March of this. And I'm pleased to say that most members of the executive have attended each meeting, which is tremendous, because unless we can keep the momentum going, it really just becomes more difficult to manage the society. The events group have put together an interesting programme of talks, which they thought would interest the membership, and I'm pleased to say that attendance at these meetings have been pretty well consistent between 30 and 40 members, which is good. Talks have ranged from gypsies, medical risks in hospital, flood risk in London, Riverside Radio, RVPB use during World War II, lost pubs and holy icons. That's quite a mix. Thank you to the events group, who have ensured that no stone is unturned to keep us enlightened and amused on Wednesday evenings. So thank you all. We haven't arranged any visits to venues this year, but if you have any ideas, please let Jenny Massey know, of the events group. And I believe Jenny will be organising a walk potentially to Roehampton University campus sometime in the future. The Society did not sponsor this year's performance of Shakespeare in the Squares at St Anne's Church, The Taming of the Shrew, but this was enjoyed by a lot of people in July, which was lovely. Summer party. We were very fortunate to have been invited to the garden of number 15 St Anne's Crescent, Richard and Caroline Pook's home, thank you both, in July, when we were able to relax and converse to the sound of Adam and Glenn Glasser on guitar and harmonica, and enjoyed a wonderful range of food and drink on a warm summer evening. Thanks to the Pooks and all of those who helped organise this gathering, and to those who attended and enjoyed the evening. Now, we have a call for new members to help. As you'll have seen in the recent flyer for this AGM, the executive and the groups are really needing more support from members who have either some expertise or enthusiasm to help carry things forward. The groups, I'm sure you're all well aware, are the environment, roads and transport, meetings, planning, and a particular need is for help with the website or any other social media which would widen the appeal and knowledge of the Society's existence to new and old residents in the area. I've made this call before, but unfortunately there's been very little response. The existing teams or groups that have carried the aims of the Society forward during the year include the Green or Environmental Group, represented primarily by Bruce, who's sitting there, Bruce St. John Bone, who's monitored the progress of certain parts of this topic and has attended council and other meetings. This topic covers air quality, traffic emissions, pedestrians, flooding amongst others. This is an enormous range, and if you think you can help Bruce, please let him know. As I said last year, I co-chair the West London River Group, which is undertaking a strategic review of the Thames, and this is funded by the Environment Agency, seeking to establish a baseline, particularly in respect of increased levels of flood risk, which may affect the capital from Teddington to the sea. The West London River Group is also assisting with character reviews of the river from Kew to Chelsea on both banks. So much has changed since the first report was published in 2002. The next group I'm going to quickly go through, which is chaired by John Dawson, the Roads and Transport, who continue to monitor proposals and actions, mostly by the Council as the local highway authority. Last year I spoke of the works being undertaken in Burntwood Lane, following community involvement and consultation. The group wrote to the Council expressing our concern. Much of the work has now been completed, but we do not believe that what has been done is in any way satisfactory. One matter which we've taken forward is the possible provision of an additional zebra crossing at the eastern or northern end, the Trinity Road end of Burntwood Lane, to assist pedestrians crossing. The Council accepted our petition organised by John, but have now have to reconsult before approval or rejecting this variation to the road layout. Unfortunately, there are lots of technical issues which, despite initial encouragement from the Council, seem to be acting almost as a, well, not as a roadblock, but it'll be interesting to see what the reconsultation comes out. We have, however, received helpful dialogue with both the councillor concerned and the officers during the past 12 months. That's a nice change. Another matter which the group has been concerned with in the last few months is the council's town centre consultation. You're probably aware that in the summer of last year, June and July, a very, in inverted commas, discreet announcement was made by TfL and the council that work would no longer be proceeding with the Armoury Way, Swandon Way realignment and the associated works. The Society was most concerned as the Council made little play of this major reversal of policy of a project that had been planned for more than 15 years. The ground given was principally cost, but we don't really believe this. Following this announcement, the Council started a public consultation asking the public what they would like to see by way of short, medium and long-term improvements to the town centre. I would hasten to add that in the consultation there was very, very little evidence put forward as to what the road traffic could do, and if that was excluded, how that would benefit the town centre. Anyway, the Society and individuals gave and attended presentations which were not very well staged or documented. I went to one and it was just hopeless. We subsequently sought a meeting with Councillor Jenny Yates, which, after months of delay, finally took place in late autumn, when members of the Road Transport Group tabled ideas and proposals for the Council to consider. The consultation findings were published on the 10th of March and are available on the Council's website. We'll have to wait and see what the next steps are, but after 15 years and plus or minus £25 million in the bank, it's difficult to accept that through traffic in the town centre could not be dealt with appropriately. The planning group, which I chair, I'm just going to share with you a little bit of amusement, I think, rather than anything. But anyway, the planning group have not met in person this year. However, we continue to monitor closely many applications in our area of the borough, which may be of interest or concern. I thought that you would be amused to see a couple of pictures which I took yesterday. And have you ever seen a Grade 2 listed church with a crane on top? That different kind of crane. It's not the one with wings. I just thought that was... And then, have you ever seen a tree that needed that much support in the background? I just couldn't believe the sort of the juxtaposition of this. Anyway, I'm pleased to say that I have received the continued support, thank you, from members of the group as we consider individual applications to get the right consensus for our response. We don't always object, we make constructive comments, and I think this has changed over the years. The council used to be very much more consultative with us. Now that doesn't happen, but it's one of those things, times move on. We also cover some applications outside our immediate area, and I've just quickly named two. The ALTC application for Wimbledon Park and the massive new residential building proposed beside Battersea Bridge. That's called the Glass Mill. The AELTC, various legal processes have taken place during the year in an endeavour to establish by the club their right to proceed with the plans which have been approved by the London Borough of Merton and endorsed by the Mayor of London. An amendment to legislation proposed in the House of Lords in the autumn was not proceeded with and subsequently failed. A judicial review in January of this year has found that the land is not subject to the test required to permit the land to be used for purposes other than a public open space. So, and that sounds a bit of a double negative, but effectively, the public open space entity was expected to be confirmed, but the High Court has decided that the correct process was not applied and doesn't now apply to this particular case. The appeal by Save Wimbledon Park is an appeal is still under consideration. There's also a further proposed amendment to a new bill in the House of Lords to achieve the same result as the one that was discounted in November, but this is currently in debate. The Save Wimbledon Park organisation keep me abreast of information by email, and if any of you want a continuing flow of this, let me know and I'll pass on their emails. The other one that we've been monitoring, and frankly I personally have been concerned with, is the glass mill at Battersea Bridge Road. This is an application that was refused by the council for a 29-floor, principally residential building, literally beside or on the eastern side of Battersea Bridge. The inquiry finishes tomorrow, and all I can say is thank goodness. There was a consortium put together of societies which were Putney, Battersea, Chelsea, Friends of Battersea Park, Cheney Walk Trust, and ourselves. And we've been working very hard over the last month to put all the information together so that that could be properly presented to the inquiry. And we were very, very fortunate to have been approached by a barrister, not a KC, who teaches at London University and was very, very generous with his time, and he has applied his knowledge and expertise on our behalf pro bono, which is absolutely wonderful. The closing statements are tomorrow, and then the inspector has said she hopes the result will be out by the beginning of May. It's taken Peter and I many, many hours of thought and investigation. Another quirky one, and I haven't got a photograph of this, which I should have done. There's a pavement outside Southside, just a little slither of land which is owned by TfL. And bless them, TfL have made an application for an illuminated advertising panel that will stand 8 meters high, on a tiny little bit of their land. We've made an objection to that, and there have been significant objections. We only hope the planners, and I think they probably will, refuse the application. Soirees. Arrangements were made for one soiree during the year, and is most grateful to the hosts on these occasions. They cause a lot of disruption to the household. Following on from last year, the acquisition of the part of Ron Elam's card collection. Images of the card collection are now available from Battersea Library, and we hope these images will be available online shortly or in due course. The other thing that we've done recently is Peter, who's unfortunately, because of family problems, has very cleverly arranged for the digitisation of much of the Society's past newsletters. Those are now effectively done. We're looking to see how they can best be arranged and then available. So if anybody wants to look back and see what we were doing 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they should be able to do so relatively soon. Unfortunately, 2 or 3 of our members have died during the year. I won't go any more from that. Subscriptions. We're grateful to those members who have dealt with their new subscription rate by altering the standing orders. And for those that haven't, could you please check whether you either have or could, because the £15 subscription is applicable as from January of this year. And finally, well, quickly, action. The Society needs more active participation from members, and in particularly, we need the expertise to assist with the website, communications and all that goes with this. If you know of anyone who could help, and generally they are that much younger, forgive me saying it, than most of us here this evening, nephews or grandchildren, it would be brilliant to hear from them. Anyway, as I advised you last year, I'm stepping down from the high chair and handing the baton or the poison challenge to John Dawson, who I'm sure will take the Society forward. I've been asked to continue as a member of the executive, as vice chair, and continue as leader of the planning group, which I will leave in your hands when officers of the Society are up for election shortly. Finally, thank you all for coming this evening. I'd like to present a small gift to both John Crossland and Mr. Henry, Paul Henry, for checking that we are all in order. And I hope you all have a good summer. Thank you. Sheila.
Do you want to take questions at this stage?
No, but I will, just half a second. Just a moment. Thanks very much. I'm going to be rude and say, John, yours is here. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. That was my report. Please ask me questions. If I can answer them, I will. Yeah, Sheila.
Do you have an update on the road situation down in the town centre, Armoury Way?
Yes, it continues to be thoroughly bad.
No movement from the council?
Not at the moment.
Yes, that we all write to our councillors, because there's an election coming up and it's an outrageous situation and that we have put up with for 15 years or more.
John, I think, would potentially like to give you a little bit more. John, come on.
Hello, Sheila. I think the answer has to be, it won't make a lot of difference if you write now. The decision was made last July between the TfL, who run all the main roads in central London, in central Wandsworth, because it's the A3 and it's the derivative A3s as well, plus all the off-roads. But the main roads going through the centre, where the gyratory revolves, are all TfL. TfL have said, no, we're not going to make any changes to the road system at all. Can't afford it. and they've got other plans for other places around London.
Okay, but what was the council's reaction to that? Did they object?
I think, in fairness to the council, and I'm not usually that fair to the council,
We must be fair.
I think that they've played a very quiet card, because if they started getting uppity or very loud, which I expected them to do, I thought they would be explosive about this, because as Philip mentioned, this has been on the cards within this society for 50 years. And in 1986, we produced maps, which virtually became the maps that were adopted later on when the scheme was developed by consultants. 2 sets of consultants have dealt with it. I've still got the documents. They worked out new routes for buses, new routes for the cars and lorries and everything. And it hasn't happened, and it won't happen, not in the near future, I don't think. So you can make your complaint to the councillors, who I think will respond by saying, well, look, your society, our society, has put in a 5-page report plus a map showing where we feel improvements could be made to the town centre to make it more accessible, to make people know where they're going, for people who live in the new developments to be able to know where things are, not discover them by default. And as you probably know, we've also said an attraction for the town centre, to make it a worthwhile town centre and to sort of echo its historic history. Sorry, that's a double theme, wasn't it? But is to
John, I think I'm going to be rude and say,
museum.
I think, can we bring this to an end?
Okay.
Thanks, John. I used to chair the roads and
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So I remember it all very well, and I think it's an appalling situation.
Does anybody else have any questions? Please do. Don't hold back, because that's what we're here for during the evening today. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, that's super. Thank you very much indeed. I'm now going to hand over to Richard Pook, for the presentation of the accounts. And if you're satisfied with that, an approval for the adoption of those accounts will be asked.
I'm just going to interrupt, because I'm going to give the gift to Philip for your years.
Oh, that's very kind. Oh, lovely. Thank you.
He's not only been the chairman for goodness knows how long, but he's been so active. And in the last year, he's been to 2 major inquiries. One slightly adrift from Wandsworth Society, but he also represents us, if you like, in the West London River Group. That's the correct title.
Yes.
Dealing with the Mortlake Brewery in Chiswick Way. And because there's a huge, has been plans which have now been approved after appeal, but Philip went to the appeal for weeks and weeks and weeks, representing the West London River Group. And of course, everybody knew he was wearing his Wandsworth Society hat as well. He's also just still got another day or 2 to finish on the big appeal for the glass mill site at Battersea Bridge. He's been very active indeed, and I take my hat off to him. It's a difficult act to follow if you're going to vote me in, which apparently there's no other people coming forward. So that's it. Thank you very much.
John, thank you very much indeed. Thank you all. That's wonderful. I'm now going to hand over to Richard and let him present the accounts. And
right, I've got a new toy. This is the exciting bit of the evening, the one you've all been looking forward to. Right, I'll go briefly through the accounts. You can see that at the end of the year, we made a just a profit, and last year we actually made a loss, so we've actually had a £2,000 difference between this year and last year. This is marginally, the income was a little bit more this year, lots depending on the subscriptions going up. Oh, right. I should have done that. I don't know if, that is just a repeat of what you've got in front of you. I don't know if you can actually see it or not, but I anticipated that. Right. That is the income and expenditure bit. So the subscriptions have gone up by about 600 quid, and on the other hand, the income from bedside has gone down by the same kind of number. Well, on the expenditure side, sponsorship and campaigns, they cancel each other out. The meeting expenses are a little bit reduced. Bedside production costs have increased by about £500. IT costs have halved. And that's about it. So that's where the differences are between one year and another. The balance sheet. Perhaps I ought to explain what we mean by debtors and creditors. I'm not sure many of you would actually realise that. Sometimes in this account you've got, for instance, gift aid comes in on an income for this year. It was actually last financial year. It was actually received this financial year, so you've got to do a balancing bit in the books, and that's where the debtors come in. Similarly with creditors, where we have expenditure for last year that comes in on this financial year's accounts, and they're basically some of the bedside costs and a bit of IT costs coming in. So that is the accounts. Any questions? Right.
Thank you for doing this job.
Oh, right.
It says meetings. I didn't know we had any income from our meetings.
The bar.
The bar. Okay.
Right.
We drink the bar.
Yes. You're doing it now. Right. Okay. Any other questions?
So, can I ask, if subscriptions went up and we've got the same income as last year, does that mean that the membership has fallen?
No, the income has gone up because we've been chasing up past lack of membership payments. So previous years have come in on this.
Okay.
Right. One.
I live in Riverside Quarter, and we have a large WhatsApp group for the quarter. Now, if I were to mention meetings on that, I'm sorry. I live at Riverside Quarter, and we have a large WhatsApp group. Now, if I were to mention a meeting and suggest that people might like to come and big up the topic and so forth, would they have to pay to come? And if not, why not?
I'll pass on that one. I don't know. If they arrive, we're not going to ask for money on the door.
You're not? No.
No.
Okay.
We'll give them a membership form to fill in, and if they want to do that,
They can come. They'd be welcome to come.
oh, they'll be welcome to come.
And then
yes.
they might join, I suppose.
And if they want to join, that'd be more than welcome. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Would you like me to do that?
Well, please do.
Yeah.
More the merrier.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Failing that, can I ask for someone to approve the accounts? Right, we've got... And someone to second it? Right, Jill over the back. Right.
May I just make an observation on the purchase of the postcard collection?
Hang on, wait.
Yes, regard to the purchase of the postcard collection, what about us putting up an exhibition from our purchase?
That's nothing to do with me, so I'm
to make
passing
an
on that one.
event or an exhibition or something out of it, not just hide it away.
Did you get the
Bring it
proposals and
out,
seconders?
bring it all out.
It was Mrs. Bell or whatever. her name. Margaret Bell, yes, and Jill was the secondary. Right.
The answer to that is that the Battersea, where is it held?
Heritage collection.
Thank you. Yeah, the Battersea Arts Centre and Battersea Library, I beg your pardon. And we are in the process of getting them organised to be able to allow people to view that collection.
In what form?
Oh, digitally, online.
In albums or on
No,
walls?
you've got a microphone beside you.
So how would they be displayed for consultation?
I don't know, to be honest.
Well, I think we might have to sort that out.
Yes.
There is an existing collection in the Heritage Library, and you ask them to come up on a screen, and then if you wish to purchase them, you purchase the copies that you want.
Can I just ask, are there any other questions about the accounts that we could...
We pass them.
That's fine. Okay. Well, that's brilliant. I'm going to not hand over necessarily immediately to John, but John Dawson has very kindly accepted an invitation from the executive to become the Society's chairman for the next year, because the appointments of these are annually, and it's a task that we need to make sure that there is a chair. And so if I could, I think, John, I mean, you've been standing up, so everybody knows who you are. Could I just ask the membership whether they have, they would like to approve John as the chairman for the succeeding year?
Is there anyone else standing?
No, I have received no nominations, so that is the answer to your question.
Thank you.
Are we agreed that John should proceed as the chair of the society? Thank you very much. That's lovely. Now, the executive have also agreed to continue. Again, there have been no nominations for attendance at the executive or to become a member of the executive from our membership. But just to quickly ask those that are here, Bruce, could you stand, please? This is Bruce St. John Bone, who looks after the environmental side. Thank you. Peter? Peter Farrow is standing at the back there. Ian and Jill Gray, both of whom are at the back there. I think you know them all. Julie Harrison is there and has been very welcome to... I beg your pardon, yes. So these are members of the executive. In addition to that, there is a position of vice chairman, the secretary, the treasurer, and the membership secretary. Thank you for reminding me. I have been asked to stand as vice chairman to stand beside John. I'll leave that with you. Caroline has very kindly agreed to continue as the minutes secretary. She doesn't want to be a member of the executive as such, but is just brilliant because she attends all the executive meetings and does the minutes very promptly, which is wonderful. Richard is the treasurer, and as far as I'm aware, he is very willing to continue. And Jill at the back there is the membership secretary. So I would like to ask the membership here this evening if they are happy to elect those whose names I have written out or read out to continue as members of the officers of the society. A show of hands would be great. Thank you. That's wonderful. What I would say is that we would love to have some more active participation. Again, it very much depends. If you think you've got ideas that we can accommodate, we would love to explore them and make sure that we're going in the right direction. There are a lot of other things that everybody has to attend to. We are well aware of that, but the Society's been going for 55 years. It's wonderful to see the continued presence here this evening, but we do need more support. So having said that, I think we haven't got any other nominations for the executive. So if anybody thinks they want to come and join us, come and talk to us. I've had one discussion with one of the members that are here this evening, and recently with Bruce. So we are interactive. We are not cabal. We want to open this out as much as we can and be a useful part of society. So
I also put in a plea for anybody who would like to join the events group. It's a very pleasant tea time event, and we'd love to have any new blood, anybody who'd like to come and join us.
Thank you.
You don't have to do very much, as you'll notice. We share out the tasks very broadly between us.
Last thing on this agenda, because I know we've got a few minutes before our speaker, who is here now, wants to get going. Any other business? Has anybody got anything that they would like to discuss here in open forum? Or if that's not the case and that there is some embarrassment of... Oh, Julie. Sorry, Julie.
Yes, actually, I'd just like to thank the Society for supporting a series of concerts that we've been putting on in St Anne's Church. Peter Farrow, and myself and David Hall, and turning up, running the bar, and I do hope that we manage to attract a few new members as well as having great fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Has anybody... Sheila? Well, wait a minute, just a second.
Can you...
No, hang on, just a minute. Sorry.
Can you say how members tonight can submit any ideas that they have that you requested?
Yes.
What should they do?
They
send them to the chair or the secretary, or, you know,
well,
what's the way in?
The way in is either through me, the chair. I'm going to be passing that over to John fairly soon, so that's number one. Jenny is the events coordinator. If you send it to Jill Gray, I mean, Jill gets all sorts of emails from all sorts of people. Forgive me saying it, but
does that suit you, Jill?
If you send them to inquiries at Wandsworth Society, then that will reach me at some point.
Thank you.
Did you all hear that?
Yeah, Wandsworth Society, it's inquiries at wandsworthsociety.com.
no, it's just wandsworthsociety.org.
.org. Sorry.
Is that address in the newsletter?
Yes.
Thank you.
And on the website.
If nobody has any other... Bruce? Hang on, wait a minute.
Hi. I'd like to ask, take the opportunity as we're all here, whether there's any feeling about whether there are new areas you feel it appropriate that the Society should get involved with, or some that perhaps we shouldn't. We've have the planning group, which is basically at the heart of the Society. The open spaces is now more or less taken with the help of Friends of Wandsworth Common. Although, and the environment group, which I've been involved with, group's rather a fancy word for it. It's basically me monitoring what's going on, but it includes overview of the Wandle as well. And basically, it's up to you, I think, to ask us if you think we'd like to get in, you'd like us to get involved in a particular area that we're not. Environment is a very big subject. We've had discussions about how to develop it, what to do. The one thing we won't do is be telling you what to do. I think we, as a membership, probably a little bit more sensitive to what's going on than many. Planning, Philip's led the way so well for a long time. John on transport, and transport is changing actually with the electric vehicles. Public transport changes, a lot going on. There's one area which we haven't been directly involved with, but although we have indirectly, and that's heritage. Do you feel that heritage is a subject which is appropriate for the society? If anyone's got any views on that?
Absolutely, it's part of planning.
Sorry?
It's part of planning, absolutely. I used to run heritage at
Great.
council, yes.
As part of planning, yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. Any other views?
Bruce, do you want to tell the meeting about the collaboration we have with the University of the City?
No, I don't think that's appropriate.
To do with Wandle.
Okay, fine. Anyway, if you have comments or feelings on that subject, please let one of the executive, Flip, myself, John, know, and we'll see if we can address that. Thank you.
Thank you all very much indeed. Food and drink there. Got about 15, 16, 17 minutes, something like that. So please help yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please take your seats? There's going to be a short announcement before Jonathan starts speaking. Libby, who is involved with the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, would like to just tell you briefly about the progress of the removal from Chiswick Pier to Riverside Quarter. So if I could pass you over, just 1/2 second.
Thank you. I'll only be a moment, but you may remember Wayne Bellamy came to give a talk at the beginning of last year. Was it last year? Yes. Which was excellent, about the lifeboats on the Thames. And you learnt then that there was a plan to move the Chiswick one to Wandsworth. Well, progress is really good. We have a wonderful building, amazing building, so much space. Just by Wandsworth Riverside Pier, which is also having one of the pontoons modified to take the lifeboat. The building, once it's complete, will not only provide the accommodation for the crew and for various training, etc., but it will also have a visitor centre, visits, and it will also have a shop and lots of other things as well. Some people have got my contact details. I chair the local fundraising branch here, and I'm very happy for any help that would like to come our way. And I've also been telling Jenny about there she is, about a possible speaker who has written a book of poems on the Thames called Tamases, and he's also a member of the lifeboat crew, and some of those poems are really moving. But if anyone wants to ask me anything else afterwards, because you're not here to hear me, over to you.
Thank you very much indeed. That's brilliant. Well, we hope to arrange a visit down there as and when they're established, and to know an awful lot more about the work that the RNLI do on this section of the river.